one of the biggest businesses in South Korea. They have the world's biggest department store globally. They won the record. It's the Shinsegae department store in South Korea, and it's just one of their many department stores. It's huge. I don't even think in one day you could finish a full level of that store. And it's not even just a department store. They have everything in there. It's a one-stop shop for everything. There's a basement level with hundreds of food stalls and restaurants. The main floor has nothing but luxury brands. All the jewelry and designer items are there. The second floor and up, like 600 more fashion brands. They've got a movie theater, an indoor golf range, an indoor ice skating rink, a sauna bathhouse. This is the part that blew my mind. They all have markets. So you go there on the weekend and you can do your shopping, but you can also do your grocery shopping and then leave.
Yeah, it's good.
In America, you gotta go to the grocery store, then you're gonna come home, put it away, and then you go to the mall, but then like not everything's in the mall, and then let's say you wanna go to an arcade, then you gotta go drive to an arcade. Most of these places, this Shinsegae Mall has an aquarium, a science museum, an art exhibition, and it's like connected to a hotel room.
And it's all indoors, so no heat.
Oh, it's good.
Why are we marketing for them right now?
Oh yeah, no, wait, I take it back. You know what? Save your money.
I got a package! Joe Bob's Mutant Fam Survival Kit. Let's see what's inside. Let's see what's inside.
The drive-in will never die.
Joe Bob Briggs, microwave, movie-style popcorn. Yum. Is this a blanket? I love blankies. We have popcorn holders for the popcorn. Oh, hell yeah. Catfight Coffee, Vienna Roast, dark chocolate with a smoky aroma. I love it.
Over the weekend, I ventured to the historic Fort Macon, a place steeped in history, and perhaps something more sinister. As the sun cast long shadows over the weathered brick walls, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. Though my family and I explored during the day, when the fort seemed almost peaceful, there's something about this place that makes your skin crawl. Stick around till the end. I'm going to share every image I can and video that I captured, though no ghostly apparitions appeared before my lens. The origins of Fort Macon trace back to the War of 1812, when the United States, fearing an attack, erected a series of forts along the East Coast. Built by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Fort Macon was crafted to shield Beaufort Harbor, a deep-water ocean port. Its five-sided design, made of brick and stone, hides secrets within its 26 vaulted rooms, casemates with walls nearly 5 feet thick, whispering with the echoes of the past. In 1834, the fort's walls began to absorb the weight of history. When the Civil War erupted, the Confederates seized Fort Macon, only to lose it again to Union forces in 1862. The fort then served as a federal prison, housing both civil and military prisoners until its closure in 1903. Though now a state park, replete with picturesque trails and serene beaches, the fort's dark past lingers just beneath the surface, drawing in over 1 million visitors each year, some of whom swear they've left feeling the cold touch of the otherworldly. Some say the spirits of those Confederate soldiers still linger, eternally on guard against a foe that never comes. Others believe the ghosts are prisoners, forever trapped within the cold stone confines. Visitors have reported seeing spectral soldiers pacing the grounds, hearing disembodied footsteps, the distant boom of gunfire, and the murmur of voices speaking in hushed tones. But there is one tale that chills the bones more than the rest. The fort was originally built to protect the city of Beaufort from pirates, but in 1862 it became the final resting place of Ben Combs, a 25-year-old Confederate soldier. Mortally wounded by a mortar shell, Combs lingered in agony for 5 days before death claimed him. His widow Eliza was left to mourn with only a small pension from the state. For years, Combs' story faded into obscurity until the early 1980s when a woman named Linda Coates claimed that Combs spoke to her from beyond the grave. As I left Fort Macon, I couldn't shake the feeling that perhaps the fort's true story is not yet finished. What dark secrets does this historic fortress hold? And who or what still wanders in its shadowy halls?
Finding love is not easy, especially when you're competing against 3,900, almost 4,000 other people for the attention of just one person. 4,000 people are writing letters to one man to get him to fall in love with them. You really only have one shot. How do you get his attention? How do you stand out? How do you not be so boring? Maybe some people think I'll include some pictures, but how do you make those stand out? Maybe they're nude. Well, no, because the nude photos, they get flagged, and he's not even going to be able to read them. Hundreds of people have already tried, and sure enough, they've been flagged for being, quote, inappropriate. But how else are they supposed to stand out? Do you just write what you're thinking straight onto the page? I think I can change you. I know you've been hurt, but I'll be with you. I can see the pain in your eyes. I know you feel sorry. It's kind of like The Bachelor. Everybody is fighting for this one man's affections. Who's gonna come out on top? Who is he gonna pick? Only this man is not The Bachelor. He's a killer. He has committed double homicide. He killed 2 people in cold blood and has gone viral on TikTok for being hot. And now thousands of people from all over the world are writing to him, believing that they can be the ones to change him. Make a killer go good again.
Hey, how you doing? I have never given you guys a warning or a disclaimer about any of the videos that I have shown you or posted myself, but this one, consider yourself warned. This came across my For You page last night. I don't know. I don't think it's real. It could be real. Okay. Start over. It bothered me. The sound at the end of this clip bothered me. There is a girl who says that she is in her bedroom. She heard the voice of her mom, but it wasn't her mom. She was home alone. She never heard her mom's voice sound like this. But at the end, it makes this sound. And for some reason, I don't know if it triggered a memory of something I've heard in real life or if it triggered like a memory from a movie. You guys have to let me know if you decide to listen to it. I'm putting it at the end of this video. It's 25 seconds long. The person has their stitches and duets shut off. You can see their name that comes up on the screen. I'll let you guys decide if you want to listen to the very end of it. Again, sent chills down my spine. I don't like the sound. I'm not listening to it anymore. Again, you've been warned.
Open the door for mommy. Bella. Come out. Bella, are you there, honey?
people are crazy.
Yeah.
Like the shadiest of the shadiest people.
Oh yeah, it's really bad. Jiang meets a guy. He forces her to make money for him at a hostess bar. She refuses. He beats her, blackmails her, keeps her in this relationship, this violent relationship. She starts a YouTube channel to make him money. She ends up becoming a successful YouTuber. He makes millions of dollars, steals it all from her, doing none of the work, and then finally gets what's coming to him. He gets sued. He hires an attorney who does all of this, that emails 2 YouTubers about all of her scandalous past. These 2 YouTubers start talking about how they're gonna get money out of Jiang. Then another YouTuber stumbles upon these audio tapes of them committing a crime. And he hates one of those YouTubers. So he sends it to another YouTuber, sends it to another YouTuber. And that YouTuber goes, you know what? This could be good publicity for my channel. I'm going to post it.
And what's crazy is all of them knows damn well that she's a victim in this story.
A bunch of men feeling like they could take a piece of Jiang, that they're all just trying to exploit her weaknesses, her victimization to further victimize her. Like they look at this successful woman who has already been victimized to hell and back, and they think, how can I get something out of her next?
Exactly.
One netizen sums it up pretty well, and they say, so Jiang was simply in the middle of a fight amongst nasty ass men.
This is all the news you're not going to see on TV today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. Experts are now issuing a warning to iPhone users as Apple is set to change a key feature this September. Okay. Basically what they're saying is that Apple ID is no longer going to be a thing. They're going to reword it and it's going to be called Apple Account. And they think that there's going to be a lot of scams of people trying to be like, hey, oh my god, you need to change your Apple ID. Basically everything is going to be the exact same. It's just a different word. So if you get any scam texts or calls, don't answer. This hotel worker just shared 8 things that you should never do whenever you're staying in one. She's telling everybody not to ever arrive late at a reservation because it goes into a no-show and then they no longer have it. She's telling everybody to not book a hotel through a third-party website because if you do, you cannot change it and it's permanent. She's telling everyone to not book the wrong date by accident because they send you a confirmation email and it is not their fault if you do not double check. She's telling everybody that if you call and ask if they have availability and then they don't have it, then you cannot fight them, they cannot help it. She's telling everyone to make sure you do not bring your kids if you're just going to be at the hotel while they're running around and you're just at the bar. And then she's telling everybody to make sure you do not leave a bad review even if you have a bad experience, especially if you don't ask them to fix it. Blah 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 blah, she sounds like a real positive person. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
Way up in old Linville Mountain, where the bear and the Catamount range, there's a strange ghostly light can be seen every night that no scientist or hunter can explain.
This is part 2 on what happened to 23-year-old Stacy Colbert. So police spoke with the pizza delivery boy and he said that he does not know if Stacy was actually alone that night. He kind of had a feeling that someone else was there. However, he didn't actually see this person, so we can't really confirm this. Police checked into him and they did ultimately clear the pizza boy. Next, police spoke to the couple upstairs who heard Stacy screaming and they said that the reason they didn't call police is because her husband had unpaid parking tickets. So they were scared that if they called the police, her husband would get in trouble because he hadn't paid his parking ticket. Which to a lot of people is kind of just like an insane reason, and it's really hard for Stacy's family to not be angry at this couple, because if they had just called the police as soon as they heard the screaming, then Stacy would still be here today. It was just really frustrating, but in the end the neighbors were also cleared. Police started looking all over Stacy's apartment to see if they could find any clues, and they did find a male footprint by her front door. They also took a small piece from her carpet, and that was pretty much it. There really wasn't much evidence in this case. Foul play was suspected in Stacy's disappearance, and police were looking into everyone. They interviewed her neighbors, her co-workers, her friends, her family members, her ex-boyfriend, but it just seemed like no one knew what happened to Stacy or who could have done this. The community, her sorority sisters, her family, her friends, her co-workers, everyone got together to pass out flyers and spread awareness on what happened to Stacy. Her job was even offering a $10,000 reward for anybody who could lead to Stacy's whereabouts. But unfortunately, it wasn't until 6 years later that Stacy's family would finally get some answers. On November 27, 2004, her sister Danielle received a phone call from police letting them know that they had found Stacy's remains. A hunter was looking for their lost dog on State Route 257 North in Delaware County, which is about 40 minutes away from Columbus, Ohio, when all of a sudden they stumbled upon skeletal remains. They contacted police and police were able to confirm that this was Stacy through her dental record. Unfortunately, due to the state of her remains, they were not able to determine a cause of death. Detectives also aren't sure how long her body had been there because they spoke to some workers who were in charge of cleaning that area, and they said that for the past 4 years, they didn't see a body there. So police don't know if someone was holding on to her remains for the past 6 years or how this happened. According to Sergeant Bessinger, who's in charge of the case today, he says that he believes he knows who did this. He can't say who yet or how he has his idea, but he's just waiting for a little bit more evidence to finally make an arrest. It's believed that Stacy was murdered inside her apartment sometime between 3 and 4 a.m. on Sunday, March 22nd, and that she knew her killer. Since there was no sign of forced entry, police believe that Stacy knew this person and that she willingly let them inside her apartment. A couple of Stacy's sorority sisters and Stacy's family have created a Facebook page and a GoFundMe. They are looking to get some donations to hire a private detective and put up some billboards, so please check out the GoFundMe and donate if you're able to. What happened to Stacy is just absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, her killer is still out there. It's been 26 years and her family needs justice. If you want to hear more about the details, you guys can check out my YouTube channel. The link will be in my bio.
This is all the news you're not going to see on TV today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. This airport in Japan just fully shut down because a pair of scissors went missing. So they're saying that this pair of scissors was being used at one of the stores in the airport, and whenever they went missing, they fully delayed everything until they found them. This new research is now finding that microplastics were found floating around in human brains, which is crazy. So basically they're saying that microplastics are tiny fragments that are less than 5 millimeters in diameter, and they enter the human body through pollution in air, water, and food. And then they're saying that the full impact that this has on the human health is uncertain. This depressed shelter cat is completely transformed after his adoption. Basically, this cat was being put up for adoption, and this is him in the shelter. And then once he got adopted, he is now officially a happy boy. You'll have to read this word yourself, but this stuff right here that's worth more than $5 million was disguised in a fake watermelon shipment. I don't think that anybody is capable of sitting here and telling me that they thought this was a watermelon shipment. I'm gonna try to pronounce this the best way I can, but this photographer just captured the aftermath of the Sundhnúkur volcano erupting in Iceland, and then this is the picture that he got. I think it's cool. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
Did I just witness the best movie of 2024? If there's anyone to trust me on, this is it. This is sincerely it. Just go see this movie. And that's all I'm gonna say. Just do it. Literally, just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Because I promise you, this movie is worth spending your hard-earned money on a movie ticket. This is a movie you gotta see in a theater. Now, I really want y'all to know absolutely nothing going in, so I'm gonna be the most vague reviewer as I possibly can on this app. The story itself, absolutely fantastic, but what's better is the way the story is conveyed. The two main actors, Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner, are just perfect. Now, the cinematography nowadays in most movies is really well done, but they absolutely let this DP just cook throughout this entire film. At least for me, easily the best cinematography of 2024. I never give movies a 10 out of 10, and this is a 99.9% perfect movie. I only have one gripe with it. Literally just one. And for most of the movie, I was like 10 out of 10 easy. But just, here, come here. Just go see this movie. Okay, seriously, go see it. Even if you do not absolutely fall in love with it, you're gonna have a good time. Especially since this movie came out of absolutely nowhere. Alright, I'm gonna put you down now. I'm gonna do a spoiler review at some point, but I'm gonna let this simmer for a little bit. Go to the theater, take your friends and family, go see Strange Darling. Just do it. Do it.
So I am stood outside of Fright Fest London, just about to go in and watch the highly anticipated Shelby Oaks. Of all the films at Fright Fest this year, Shelby Oaks is the one film I am most excited about. And I think that many of you will probably agree, it is probably one of the most anticipated horror movies to be released this year. So if you stay tuned, I will be uploading a review for that very soon.
Religion fucking sucks, but this brand new horror film called In the Name of God low-key rips. What's up, my name is Justin and welcome to Horror Hunt, a challenge I gave myself this year where I can only watch horror films that I have not seen before, so if you love horror content, be sure to follow. First and foremost, In the Name of God was shown at Fright Fest this weekend. Being remote press for the festival is how I got access to this film. It is currently not streaming anywhere. Quick synopsis, this is our main character Theodore. Him and his wife run a parish. Randomly one night, Theodore's wife gets rushed to the hospital and he finds out that she has a severe case of sepsis. Now with his wife's life on the line, Theodore is clearly in shambles. But that's when his old mentor Jonas shows up to the hospital and says only the blood of a sinner can save her. That's some creepy shit. Now that's as far as I want to go into the story. You might be thinking, Justin, I know exactly how this story is going to play out. And yeah, to a degree, you absolutely will. But I felt this movie had some good twists and turns. I was pretty locked in the entire time. The acting's great, it looks great, the score is fantastic. For me personally, just as I was thinking, alright, I have the rest of this movie figured out, In the Name of God takes a shift, and I was like, oh, okay. Now, I will say that I felt the film was a bit rushed, but for those who hate slow burn films, this might be perfectly paced. So coming from somebody that is not religious whatsoever, I'm not the biggest fan of religious horror. I will say that In the Name of God had my attention the entire time. This film does a great job of showing the dark and the good side of religion. This is an absolute must watch.
Look, I have another sleeper. I might as well change my name to Dr. Sleep. If you landed on this page, make sure you hit that follow button. Also, shout out to 9-5 for sending me these dope-ass glasses. Patricia is a successful lawyer. She's living her best life when all of a sudden, her worst nightmare comes true. Her young son, Victor, is kidnapped. But after a frantic search, Victor is found and brought home. But here's where things get interesting. Really interesting. The crazy thing is, Victor points out his kidnapper, but thanks to some frustrating legal loopholes, they let the guy go. Can you imagine the anger and fear that would overcome you in that very moment? This is a very solid thriller, so what would you do if the system that's supposed to protect your family fails you? Well, Patricia doesn't just sit around and wait for things to get better. Nah, she takes matters into her own hands, and let's just say this, shit gets messy. This movie isn't just about a mom on a mission, it's about the consequences of crossing moral lines. As Patricia gets deeper into her plan, things start to spiral out of control, leading to some jaw-dropping moments. The story keeps building tension, making you question what would you do in her shoes. Look, it's your boy Bobby at Watch Real Flicks. Let me know in the comments if you've seen Boy Missing or Sequestro in the comments and how you felt about it. Don't forget to hit that follow button.
This is all the news you're not going to see on TV today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. The FDA has just issued a nationwide warning on a recall of chocolate. They're saying that this chocolate is currently being recalled over a potential mold growth. This chocolate was sold in Marshall's and TJ Maxx stores nationwide. And then these are the lot numbers if you want to make sure you don't have them. You have high IQ and sniper vision if you can spot the hidden dog stood in the snow in this image. Basically, this is the photo if you want to pause and look. If you cannot find him, I'm going to show you the answer at the end of the video. Scientists are now starting to officially turn nuclear waste into super efficient diamond batteries. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I don't fully understand this, but they're saying that they compressed radioactive carbon from graphite blocks used in nuclear power plants into diamonds that generate a continuous electrical current. So that's cool. South Africa's last zoo elephant was just officially freed after 40 years of captivity, which is something we all want to hear, thank you. And then for everybody that could not find the dog, he's literally in the center of the photo. I just zoomed in, here he is. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
This is the story of Jiyoung. Jiyoung goes on live. She titles the live stream, I Will Tell You Everything. She starts talking about a previous relationship that she had been in. She was taking a year off of university and she met this guy. At first, it was really nice. The relationship spiraled pretty quickly. He was treating her very well. They just kind of clicked. But soon after, he got very violent. She starts talking about the abuse. She says it was like hell on earth for her. And she immediately decides the minute he gets violent, the first time, I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna stay with someone like this. I'm not gonna put up with this. But when she tries breaking up with him, he laughs and shows her his phone where he has a video of her, an intimate video that she did not know he filmed. And he basically told her, you break up with me and I'm gonna spread this everywhere because you're not gonna break up with me. So from there, he felt like he held all of the power. She said that after that attempted breakup, I got hit a lot. There were things that it just felt like hell. He would grab an umbrella and start hitting her. And he kept trying to gaslight her into going to work for these seedier bars, basically trying to get her to engage in work, and she kept saying, I don't want to, and he would explode at her. Well, how are you going to make me money then? That's when Jiyoung thought of doing the only thing that she could think of. She told her boyfriend, I can try live streaming to earn money. I can try it that way. I can eat a lot. She starts her YouTube channel because of him. She said, I was beaten in the house that I did my very first broadcast in. She said for many years of her YouTube career, for 4 years, she had been a victim of SA, illegal filming, dating violence, blackmail, and extortion. For 4 years, she secretly went through all that abuse and was blackmailed. Her boyfriend took at least $3 million of YouTube earnings because she very quickly rose to fame.
The boyfriend took all her earnings too?
Practically all her earnings.
Here are 5 horror movies with the best plot twists that you'll never see coming. Now before we get into that, if you love all things horror, all things spooky just as much as I do, be sure to hit that follow button. Final Destination 5 is the 5th movie in the series, and it follows a group of co-workers who survive a bridge collapse, and of course after that, death comes after them. Trust me when I say this, you're not expecting the twist in this movie at all. Some may even say it's the best horror movie plot twist of all time. Check this one out on Prime Video. I See You takes place in a small town where a 12-year-old boy disappeared, and a lead investigator is struggling trying to figure out what happened to him while also dealing with the pressures of his own life. And while all this is going on, it seems as though an evil presence has taken over his home and is targeting his family. This movie has a great story and a great vibe to it. Check it out on Apple TV. The Cabin in the Woods follows college friends who take a trip to a cabin in the woods for some relaxation and some fun, only for this fun to end pretty quickly when some terrifying monsters come out of nowhere and target the group. This is a horror comedy. It's one of the best of all time, and the twist in this movie is so fun and entertaining. It gives a unique take on this genre. Check it out on Peacock. Angel Heart follows a private detective who is on a mission to find a missing person, only to end up in a bloody spar with himself and to find himself on a supernatural journey within his soul. This is a pretty different and unique twist that I didn't see coming myself. Check this one out on Pluto TV. The Sixth Sense may have the best horror movie plot twist of all time. And it follows a child psychiatrist who meets a 9-year-old boy who is hiding a dark secret. He's visited by ghosts left and right, and it's scary as hell. The twist in this movie is absolutely mind-blowing. Check it out on Hulu if you haven't already.
12 full-blooded siblings living in one house. Half of the siblings will go on to get diagnosed with schizophrenia. The therapist is staring at Lindsay Galvin. She's in college now, and the therapist asks, so tell me about your family. Lindsay, for once, she starts talking, and she just doesn't stop. It's like how you open up the floodgates. The words are just spilling out of her mouth. Every day living in that house with her siblings, her 11 siblings, it felt like a fever dream. I mean, just the strangest things would happen. There would be days where Lindsay would come home from school and believe, oh my God, everybody moved out without me. Everybody packed up their bags. The family moved. Maybe they forgot to do a head count because I'm just left behind. All the furniture in the house is gone. It's out. She rushes into the living room, and there she sees her brother naked, chanting in the middle of the living room. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. What the hell is going on? Through the window, she can see that he has pulled out every last piece of furniture and stacked it up in the backyard.
Wow.
When the family gets home, they just bring the furniture back in and they don't even address it. They don't talk about it. Like, that never even happened.
Which brother? Is it the same one?
Donald.
Other
times, he would just be pouring a container of salt into an aquarium, poisoning and killing all of the fish. One time she came home from school and he was going around saying, the CIA is looking for us. When everybody was gathered in the kitchen, he starts screaming, get out! They're shooting us! Everybody drops to the floor and it's just silent. When they finally get back up, nobody is shooting at them. He's obsessed thinking that the CIA is after them, and then another brother is peeing in the living room floor because he thinks that the devil is living underneath him, and this is the only way to get the devil out. Lindsay starts telling the therapist of everything that she went through as a kid, and when she finally takes a moment to breathe, she looks up at the therapist, whose expression has changed. You know, I'm sure she went from being very empathetic and understanding to suddenly, she can see an expression on the therapist that indicates she does not believe Lindsay. In fact, it looks like she thinks Lindsay is making all of this up. And then Lindsay sees her face change to a face that she's seen many times before. The therapist thinks maybe Lindsay has schizophrenia. Maybe she's the crazy one. Maybe this is all in her head.
3 movies that you need to watch right away if you enjoyed the aesthetic of Longlegs. One of the best crime thrillers ever made, starring Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, is Prisoners. So Prisoners entails a couple of families who are getting together for the holiday season. And out of the blue, their 2 young daughters go missing. They are kidnapped. Hugh Jackman is the father. And my gosh, you guys, his emotions in this movie are wild. He's angry, he's sad, he's determined to find his daughter. Woo, Terrence Howard also stars in this and delivers a great performance, but I gotta hand it to Hugh Jackman for this. Amazing. The film is extremely slow, but it's a slow burn that's good, just like Longlegs was. 10 out of 10, easily. Also, you'll see a sneak peek of David Dastmalchian in this film. You know him from Late Night with the Devil. Next up is an oldie but goodie starring Brad Pitt and David Duchovny. You might know him as Mulder from The X-Files. What a film. This one has a little more action than Prisoners, but it's still relatively slow. It's about a boyfriend and girlfriend who are looking to go on a road trip as they document serial killers and what they've done in the past and, like, you know, cases and stuff. They come across this ride share. They are wanting to kind of share the cost with somebody, which comes along Brad Pitt and Juliette Lewis. However, Brad Pitt is also a serial killer. So you can imagine like the high octane thrills you're going to see in this film. Wonderful film, 9 out of 10 for me. Finally, I have another film called The Black Coat's Daughter, directed by Osgood Perkins, who directed Longlegs. This one stars Emma Roberts and Kiernan Shipka, who is also in Longlegs. This film, I will be honest, I didn't quite understand all of it, but the aesthetic and the eerie vibes to this film were incredible. So during the dead of winter, Emma Roberts plays a girl named Joan, and she is looking to get to this prep school. Now at this prep school, 2 girls are left behind, and they are all going to experience a threat from a sinister force. This one was unique and different, but again, it is one of those films you have to pay attention to every single detail to understand it. I think I need to rewatch it too, but I wanted to recommend it. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any movies that you think are similar to Longlegs, and follow for all things horror and spooky if you're new here.
So the World Health Organization has now officially classified monkeypox as a global emergency, and this is a map of the cases right here, but people are now freaking out thinking that this is going to be the next pandemic. So now that monkeypox is a global health emergency, will it trigger another pandemic? So just to let everybody know, they're saying that monkeypox becoming a pandemic is very, very highly unlikely. And they're saying that pandemics with obviously COVID in mind typically spark from airborne viruses that spread quickly, including by people who may not be showing symptoms. They're saying that monkeypox is typically spread through close skin-to-skin contact with infected people or their soiled clothes or bed sheets, so it is not an airborne virus. Then experts are saying that if you want to stay safe, just obviously avoid physical contact with people who have lesions resembling monkeypox and then don't use their utensils, clothing, or bed sheets. Scientists are currently saying that the risk to the general population in countries without ongoing monkeypox outbreaks is low. Then experts are also saying that we have vaccines and treatments available for monkeypox, unlike the early days of COVID-19 where we obviously didn't. So he's saying that we have what we need to stop this. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me for an update.
I just got home from a showing of this movie. I'm not going to give anything away about it because you need to go see this, know nothing going into it, and just sit back and enjoy the ride. I'm Ian Van Gool, your horror movie hype man. If you're a fan of horror movies, then smash that follow button. And today, we're talking about Strange Darling. So of course, this is 100% spoiler free. I'm not even going to tell you the basic IMDb description of this movie, but what I will tell you is this movie absolutely slaps. So everyone has their own opinions, their own experiences with movies, so I'm not going to hype this. All I can say, this is, in my personal opinion, the best movie of the year. Giovanni Ribisi is an amazing actor, but he did the cinematography for this movie, and it is absolutely beautiful. The story is tense and intriguing, and the acting? Look, I'm a Kyle Gallner fanboy, 100%. He can do no wrong. I want to be best buds with Kyle Gallner, but his performance in this is phenomenal. And Willa Fitzgerald? Best performance of the year. That's all I'm going to say. I can't promise you'll love this movie or even like it, but I highly recommend going to see it and finding out for yourself, because it might just end up being your favorite movie of the year. It's showing in theaters right now. Go check it out. Let me know your spoiler-free thoughts in the comments. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Hey friend, so I'm just commenting on your comment because I've gotten this before. This comes from a lot of people when I say like, hey, something followed me after an investigation. Now again, guys, this has only happened to me, what I can say, 2 different times. But whenever I'm done investigating, whenever I'm leaving a location, I always tell the spirits, thank you. Thank you for interacting with us. Thank you for your time. Like, I am so polite, and then I'm like, y'all have to stay here. You're not welcome to come. Nobody's allowed to follow me home. Everybody, stay put. Stay where you are. This is your home. Some of them, they don't care. Again, this isn't a common occurrence, at least not for myself. I've seen other paranormal investigators on here who will tell you that it's quite a frequent happening. I can't say the same for myself, but the 2 times it did happen, one of them actually came all the way home. Was not a pleasant experience. Do not recommend. But this last time, it was literally just like, hey, I'm in the car with you. Almost like, haha, here I am. And then they go back. Anyway, so for anybody else who asks, I always tell them to stay. Okay, bye.
No production company logo and title card combination itches my brain the way that this one does. Nothing can compare to it. It is perfection before the film even begins, and I have literally dreamt about being at the movies on the opening night of this film, in the sense of experiencing it, having no idea that the greatest opening sequence in horror history is about to follow. It's the way that Marco Beltrami's 19 seconds of score composed just for this brief opening perfectly reflects the film that is to follow. The score, which seamlessly transitions to a crashing sound followed by a phone ringing, a woman screaming with a heartbeat in the background, followed by a stabbing noise and a flashing Scream logo turning red. This is perfection.
Okay, you gore lovers, this one is for you. Hello, welcome back to part 125 of my series, watching every horror movie of 2024. Today's movie is Stream, which released in theaters August 21st. Stream is about the Keenan family who are on a vacation at this hotel, but they are unwittingly entered into a game of life or death as these deranged killers who are part of this like internet game are competing for the best kills. If you're a Terrifier fan, I think you will absolutely love this. This will so be up your alley. If you're not a Terrifier fan, I think there are things that you're going to appreciate about it, but maybe it won't be for you. I did really like the premise of the movie because it's very relevant to today. A lot of what we watch and consume is like, you know, Twitch, YouTube, all these like live streaming type of things. So I did think that was cool that we're watching these people like compete for the best kills. And the practical effects in this are absolutely insane. And obviously they're done by Damien Leone, who does Terrifier. So of course they're going to be like super gory, super realistic. And it was very gory and realistic. But I think they got a little bit lost in the sauce when it came to showing off like the practical effects and everything that went into it, which I understand. But then that hindered the storyline because it seemed to unravel a little slow. Also, I was expecting a lot more tension in this because there are a lot of kills in here. So I was hoping to have this like real intense build up to these moments, but there really wasn't a lot of that. It kind of just happened. I was hoping that we would get kind of a different character from David Howard Thornton, but he's very much like Art the Clown in this movie, which I think a lot of people will love. I was just hoping for something different. Did love to see all the horror icons that popped up in this movie. That was a treat. I do have to give kudos to the filmmakers though, because if you watch this in theaters, you get to see some like behind the scenes clips and stuff on their upcoming projects. And you can tell they are filled with so much passion. So even though I wasn't really a huge fan of Stream, I'm still excited to see what they do next. Overall, I gave Stream a 5.5 out of 10. If you've watched it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments and be sure to follow to keep up with the series.
If you ever like died in a room, a place with your dog or cat, cats from this fact, I believe are way more evil than dogs now. If you died in front of your cat, in I think it was like an hour, they would start decapitating your body from the neck down. What the fuck? So a cat would decapitate your head first and then start eating everything until it was full. Nah. Yeah. A dog is different though. The cat eats you alive. It eats you alive. If you literally die in front of your cat, even though you've been taking care of as long as possible. Yeah, it would just switch. It would just switch. Like animal instinct. Yeah, because it's like needed food or something. Wow. Yeah. What does a dog do? A dog do is way more like pleasant. It's still kind of fucked at the same time, but it would wait until it was super, super hungry. Yeah. Because he would try and save your body. But if it's like, if no one's feeding him or thing, then he would try to eat you. But he would remain your team.
After playing Cult of the Lamb, I never thought I'd utter the phrase adorably satanic. Unless maybe I said it once while talking about Ghost, but that's for another video. But we're absolutely gonna talk about Cult of the Lamb because they just released a massive update where now you can actually play with your goth mommy girlfriend. Cult of the Lamb has you actually playing as a sacrificial lamb who has been resurrected by a devil-like deity known as the One Who Waits. It is now your duty to form your own cult from the ground up, get as many followers as possible, destroy all the non-believers and the heretics that sacrificed you. What can I say? This game is just such an absolute little delight. It's like the action dungeon-style gameplay of Hades mixed with Animal Crossing. It's the purest definition of a cult classic. The art style is not only adorable, but it's deadly. And if you're heavily into spooky season, like I am, it is a very fun game to just turn your brain off and enjoy. Plus, they just added local couch co-op. So do yourself a favor, go get this game, go find a goth mommy, and enjoy. Obviously, the hard part's finding the goth mommy, but good luck.
8 doctors died on that Brazilian airplane crash, and there were supposed to be 15 on board. So first off, my condolences to all the family members. I'm so sorry. And I'm actually here in Brazil, and I watched this going on the TV, and something was not right about this whole situation. So let's look into it. Now we know who was on board. And these doctors, there was at least 8 of them that were traveling on an oncology conference, and there were supposed to be 15 that canceled their flight, or for some reason they couldn't go. Jose Roberto Ferreira was a retired doctor who had a clinic in Cascavel, and he was a teacher. And as we're starting to look at these names of the doctors who were on board, people are starting to question, was it really an accident? Ariane Rizzo was another doctor that was on board. And this is a tragic, tragic story. But not only were there doctors on board, but there was also a lawyer who was working on fighting against these airline companies. So what do you think is going on with this situation? As more unfolds, I'll be giving you guys an update.
Did you send me a DM? Is your house haunted? Do you want to know? If so, this is what you're going to do, because I have had over 3,000 DMs in the last 6 days. 3,000. Now, a lot of them are just waves, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them are you guys asking me to read your house. I've tried to respond to a lot of you, but there is no way in hell that I can individually respond to 3,000 through DMs like that. So this is what you're going to do. If you are serious in getting your house read, what you're going to do first is go to my page and look under my profile pic, and you will see this right here. This is what you're going to do. You're going to go to that, and you're going to send me the photos of your house, and in the subject line you will put house read. Then wait, don't do anything else. After I receive those photos and I get to you in line, then I will respond like, hey, I've got your photos, and then we will go to the next step. So don't do anything past that until you hear back from me, because the line is long, you guys. It's long, and I'm going as fast as I can, but I also have my podcast, all my other socials, plus I have to make content and everything else, so it's a lot, okay? I want to help you, I do, I really do, but you've got to understand how much time that takes and understand the process of doing that, right? I wouldn't just ask you like, hey, do this for me, and stop what you're doing and do this for me just for no, like, reason at all, right? So I'm sure you wouldn't do that to me, right? I do want to help you. I'm trying to get to everyone as quickly as I can, but I'm also not going to half-ass the read, okay? When you do a read, you'll get a few interactions with me. I will probably ask you some questions, or I will send you photos back and tell you where the ghost is and ask a little details about it and ask you if it makes sense. There are pretty like back and forth. So it's not just like you're going to send me something and I just send back ghost and that's it. It's detailed like it would be if we were on a live. So if you sent me a DM and I've not responded to you, then just act like you've never sent that DM, because chances are I'm not going to see it. We're going to go to that step I talked about, and you're going to go and do it that way if you really want one done. I really want to help you guys, I do, and I hope you understand, and thank you for understanding, and I'm doing the best I can. It's just me that runs all socials, all podcasts, all emails, all everything. It's just me that does it all. And it's a lot more than you would think it is, but I'm grateful for it. But again, there's only so many hours in a day, and I don't even know what time it is now, like 11:30, 12 o'clock, I don't know, and I'm still working, so, but that's a little update, and if you haven't heard back from me, that's why. So, love you guys, bye.
Ready? Yeah.
Grab the other side of this.
What is it? Whoa! What the hell is that?
Okay, you could sleep in here tonight.
This is the story of the Galvins. Inside the Hidden Valley Roadhouse, there is a ticking time bomb. There's 12 ticking time bombs all waiting to go off at any second. You don't know which and when and if they're even gonna go off. It's almost like everyone in the house is eyeing each other up and down, waiting for the moment that another one of them loses their minds. And it's this never-ending question of who's gonna be next? What are they gonna do? It starts with Donald, the oldest son. Donald is sitting in front of the therapist and he's done things that nobody can ignore. He starts opening up about everything that has been going on in his life. He ran through the bonfire. He put a cord around his neck, probably in an attempt to strangle himself, though it's not explicitly clear. He turned on the gas, likely to poison himself, and even went to a funeral home to price shop for caskets for himself. I murdered a professor. Donald's therapist nods. I mean, at this point in the session, they likely knew that it's not true, but they have to make sure. And if it's not true, they have to get to the bottom of why would Donald lie about something like that? I have this fantasy of killing another person at a football game. The therapist jots down in their notes. He continues to mention bizarre self-destructive things. 2 self-exit attempts at the age of 12. Okay, tell me about the cat. Donald is sitting across from the therapist, and the therapist is making no such face to indicate disgust or disdain, but they write down, he has killed the cat, slowly and painfully. The cat had been living with him for 2 days, and apparently the cat brought in another cat, probably male. The male cat made the place smelly. The cat scratched him, so he killed the male cat. But he doesn't know why, nor does he know why he tortured the cat slowly. He gets emotionally upset when he discusses his behavior. The therapist writes, this boy represents some risk to himself and possibly others. Possible schizophrenic reaction. This is just the start of Donald and his siblings starting to lose their minds. 7-year-old Lindsay had plans to kill her older brother. The way that he roams around town with this glazed, empty look in his eyes, and the way that everybody in town knows that something is wrong with him, but nobody wants to talk about it, not even her parents. I mean, of course she hates it. Lindsay and her older brother Donald are walking up the hill, and that is where Donald is gonna die today. Let's go build a swing on that tree branch up at the top of the hill, but we have to bring some rope. That one, that tree, she points. I want to tie you to that tree. She takes one end and she starts running around the tree, tying Donald up. She's literally running, pulling the rope tighter and tighter, tying him up like a witch at the stake. The plan is she's gonna light him on fire. That's how 20-year-old Donald is gonna die. If he catches on to her little plan, again, he doesn't say anything. It's like he trusts her with absolutely everything. But Lindsay can't actually go through with this. I mean, this is crazy. She didn't even bring matches or a lighter or anything to start a fire. She just thought it doesn't really matter what she thought because she can't kill her brother. She starts running down the hill by herself without him. She leaves him tied up on the tree with no way to get down. And Donald knew from the get-go what Lindsay was planning. But he didn't mind. If that's what she wanted, he would have died for her. Because to him, Lindsay is not just a little sister. Lindsay's full name is Mary Christine Galvin, which would make her the Sacred Mother Mary, Virgin Mary, the Mother of Christ. He would do anything, absolutely anything that she says, which, by the way, her being Virgin Mary makes complete sense because they're not actually even real siblings. Donald's mom is not the same mom. They don't have the same mom. Donald was swapped at birth at the hospital. His real mother is actually an octopus.
What?
This is the story of, according to one psychiatrist, the most mentally disturbed family in America. 12 full-blooded siblings living in one house. 6 of the siblings, half of the siblings, will go on to get diagnosed with schizophrenia. Ji-young was forced into creating a mukbang channel, and when she wasn't filming, she was beaten twice a day for years. Audio has recently surfaced, and in it, you hear a man's voice screaming, shut up, you stupid bitch. Didn't I tell you not to do this? You can hear Ji-young, the #1 most subscribed YouTuber in South Korea, crying in the background, begging him not to do this to her, begging him to stop and spare her life. As for her ex-boyfriend, is he in jail now? That's what everyone wants to know. Is he in jail? What happened to him? Well, no, because he's dead. He self-exited.
Why?
Oh, he just couldn't handle it. Yeah, he couldn't handle the idea that he was facing 5 years in prison. His name was about to be disgraced and he owed her over $3 million.
Really?
And it's fascinating because Ji-young was in a living hell for the past 4 years of her life, getting beat twice a day with an umbrella. And the first sign of something difficult, such as, I don't know, the consequences of your own actions, he just could not handle it. One netizen wrote, the fact that that man crumbled instantly, but this woman stayed strong though, through it all, shows how amazing that she is, how resilient. He ends up self-exiting with his mom.
It's time for Charlie to leave. Charlie. In the name of Jesus, Charlie, I command you to leave. I command you to leave, Carl. Yes. Over. I command Charlie to leave. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I command Charlie to leave Carl alone. I command him to take Screw Anderson with him. Right now. Right now. Carl. In the name of Jesus, and you know that it works. Just stop, Carl. Listen to me. Listen to me, Charlie. It's time for you to leave. And I'm commanding you right now, by the authority of God's word, I command you to leave. It's time for it to be over. Your little game is over. Your little game is over. No, you listen to me. I'm telling you. You don't tell me nothing. I'm telling you. Your little game is over. You've used Carl. You've manipulated him. You've done everything in the world that you possibly can, and it's time for you to leave. You understand me?
it's in chapter 267. Spoilers, the time skip has already happened. Yeah, so as y'all can see right here, there was an 8-year time skip, and Yuta is accompanying Yuji on his first day as a teacher. But you're probably wondering, how did we get here? We have another leaked screenshot, not exactly of how Sukuna did get defeated, but just of him getting defeated. And it shows Sukuna pointing his finger saying he's being dragged to hell by the people that he's killed. But it might have had to do with Nobara using resonance on Sukuna. I don't know if this is a finished chain blow or not, but we also have this like panel of Nobara using resonance on Sukuna. As you can see right there, Nobara uses resonance on Sukuna. But what I'm most intrigued about is how fast Gege Akutami is wrapping this up. Because we already got the 8-year time skip this chapter. We knew it was going to be rushed. We knew there was only 5 chapters left. I just didn't know the time skip was going to be this chapter. Literally the same chapter in which Sukuna defeated, bro. Like, you know this is moving fast paced. Gege Akutami, bro, like, he's making this go like a freight train, super fast. But I'm curious to see what Yuji is going to accomplish as a teacher. And yeah, bro, this is peak.
I like this movie, but my god, please stop titling movies with the most generic names. Hello and welcome back to part 126 of my series, watching every horror movie of 2024. Don't forget to follow to keep up with the series, and today's movie is A Stranger in the Woods, which released in April, but you can watch it for free on Tubi. A Stranger in the Woods is a found footage about this film student who's working on this documentary project about this recluse man who lives like all alone in the woods, and the more time that she spends with him, the stranger that he becomes. This was low-key, like pretty entertaining, and for a very simple plot that feels somewhat familiar, I had absolutely no clue it was all going to end up where it did. Usually my complaint with found footage is that they waste a lot of time with these unnecessary scenes or banter, but I appreciated that this movie had like a really nice formula of inserting creepy moments throughout the movie, so it's not just like a whole lot of wasted scenes. The lead actors are great, especially the creepy old man. He's very convincing. The movie as a whole kind of gave me the Taking of Deborah Logan vibes, and it does have a nice little cameo from horror icon Lynn Lowry. It does have some found footage tropes like glitchy camera scenes, but those weren't too excessive, so I forgave them. And it could have used a little bit tightening up, like as far as the story unfolding. But overall, I gave A Stranger in the Woods a 6 out of 10, and I recommend it if you're a found footage fan. If you've seen it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I'm curious about this one.
So everybody wants to see what's behind the door, so I'm back and I'm gonna show you what's finally behind this door, okay? Alright, so one more time, this is everything that's wrote on the door behind this door in this hospital, and it's been unlocked, so I'm gonna go inside. Dude, I'm so scared. I don't even want to open it. So far this looks like an abandoned dirty closet. Abandoned dirty closet. I didn't get to hear it.
You remember the cat piano meme? So there's a cat that jumps on the piano and then he like fucks around on the keys and then makes a noise, right? Very popular video. There's a Mandela effect right now.
Okay. Show me.
There's something in the video that nobody remembers there being.
Let me see.
Check this out. Now this is too obvious because this being a meme, like people remember shit, right? Hold on.
This is a meme, you said?
Yeah, like a meme video, like a video. All right, watch this. Tell me what you noticed that's different in this video. Do you see it?
There's a box in front of it?
Yeah, you ever see that box before?
No,
never, bro.
So.
And that box is taking up like 90% of the shot.
Yeah, no, it's usually a clear shot.
That's what I'm saying. I swear I remember just being the piano keys and the cat jumping on top. Where the fuck did that big red box come from, and how did...
Okay, let's do it. The events of The Nun 2 take place 4 years after the events of the first Nun. We open up at this church in France where we meet this altar boy named Jacques. While he and the priest are in the church one night, they look up and they see Valak. And then the priest literally just levitates and spontaneously combusts into flames. So then we flash to Sister Irene, who obviously we know from the first movie. She's now a nun and she's serving at a convent in Italy. She befriends this young novitiate named Sister Deborah. One day she hears all the nuns talking about how a few years prior, Father Burke and this unknown nun went and defeated this demon in Romania. Obviously, they're talking about Sister Irene, but they don't know that it was her. We also then catch up with our friend Maurice, who we know from the first nun is very much possessed. He works at this boarding school in France where he befriends this woman named Kate and her daughter Sophie. One night, Irene has a vision of Valak, and then she sees an image of Maurice saying, "Save me." And when she wakes up the next morning, there is a cardinal that has come to the convent to meet with her. He tells her that since what happened in Romania, there have been a series of deaths that are traveling along Europe, starting in Romania. The most recent one being the spontaneous combustion. And they know that these are all attributed to Valak, and since she's the only person alive who has dealt with it because they drop on her that Father Burke has died, she needs to go investigate. She says no, but they don't give her a fucking choice. So she sets out for France where the combustion happened, and Sister Deborah goes along with her. They get to the church where it happened, and they see this painting of St. Lucy, which we saw Jacques look at earlier. And Irene explains to Deborah that St. Lucy was martyred, and they tried to burn her, but she wouldn't burn. So they took her eyes out and killed her like with a sword. Irene has this really creepy vision of Valak. Honestly, I'm not crazy about this movie, but this scene fucking rips. This image of Valak shows up in all these magazines that start flipping pages. And when Irene turns around, Valak is standing right behind her and attacks her. She ends up escaping, and her and Deborah locate Jacques, who gives them a rosary that belonged to the priest that set on fire. Meanwhile, back at the boarding school, we see that Sophie is getting ruthlessly bullied by this group of little bitches. And one day they lock her in this sealed off chapel. There's this game that they play here where there is this stained glass window with this goat on it. And when the sun hits it just right, its eyes glow red, and they say that if you look away, the devil will show up and possess you. Sophie briefly sees Valak, but she manages to make it out of the chapel. We learn that the chapel is sealed off because the madam, who is like the head of the boarding school, she had a son who died in that chapel years prior. One night, the madam is lured into the chapel by the voice of her son, and when she gets in there, Valak attacks her and offs her. So Irene and Deborah travel to the Catholic archives to find any sort of information that they can, and they show them the rosary that they got from Jacques from the priest that burned. He explains that the emblem that is on this rosary is the family crest of St. Lucy. After her eyes were gouged out, it said that her family found them and then fled and kind of spaced themselves out around Europe. And he suggests that the people who are being killed are probably descendants of St. Lucy that the demon is targeting because it wants some sort of relic. That relic being the eyes of St. Lucy. He explains to Irene and Deborah that through his studies, he has discovered that the last known location of this relic was at this monastery. But this monastery has since closed and is now a boarding school. Yup, this boarding school. So Irene and Deborah arrive at the boarding school where they come face to face with Maurice, who throughout this whole movie has been becoming like increasingly more and more possessed and bizarre. And when they show up, he goes full demon mode, full blown possessed. They manage to chain him up and restrain him, and Kate and Sophie take them into the chapel. They flash a light through the goat, and sure enough, when its eyes glow red, it points at the spot on the floor. And when Irene looks at that spot, sure enough, she finds the eyes of St. Lucy buried. But when they look up, they see that the goat is gone and has now manifested as a demonic creature in real life. The creature proceeds to attack Deborah, who is gone to find the other girls in the boarding school, some of which are the ones that bullied Sophie, so let it have them. A now very possessed Maurice follows Sophie to this bell tower and corners her, but the bell in the tower ends up collapsing. Irene runs in to try and save Sophie, where she comes face to face with Valak once again. Valak lifts Irene in the air, similar to what she did to the priest earlier, and Irene starts to set on fire from the bottom up. However, Irene does not burn. And it's at this point we understand that Irene doesn't burn because she is a descendant of St. Lucy. And that's why she has the visions that she has. And she's also not burning because she is holding the eyes of St. Lucy on her, which is allowing her to harness that power. Valak eventually lets Irene go and she falls to the floor, and she and Deborah notice that there have been some wine jugs that have burst open and there's wine all over the ground. Irene and Deborah get down and start praying the words of institution, which is the prayer they do in church to convert the wine into the blood of Christ. And sure enough, that converts the wine into the blood of Christ, which then vanquishes Valak once again. And it frees Maurice of the possession that he was under. Sometime later, Maurice is all well and good. He reconnects with Kate and Sophie. Irene looks on nervously as Maurice walks away with Kate and Sophie, knowing very well that this is not the end for him.
God is saying to you today, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. You have faced battles, but remember I am your shield. The darts of the enemy may be aimed at you, but they will not reach their mark. What was intended to harm you will only serve to strengthen your faith and deepen your trust in me. Do not fear the words spoken against you, for I will give you the power to silence them. The accusations will fall flat, and the truth of my love will stand firm. You are not defenseless. You are covered by my righteousness, and I have already declared victory over every challenge. In the moments when you feel surrounded, know that I am your protector. The darkness may close in, but it will not overcome you. My light is your guide, and my hand is upon you. You will rise above the storm, untouched by the destruction that threatens others. Remember, my child, your heritage is one of peace, strength, and divine favor. I am the one who vindicates you, who clears your name, and who lifts you high. Let your heart rest in this truth. I have already fought the battle for you, and you are more than a conqueror through me. Stand firm in your faith. Do not be swayed by the winds of doubt or the lies of the enemy. I have equipped you with everything you need to stand your ground and emerge victorious. The weapons may be formed, but they will not prosper. The tongues may rise, but they will not prevail. If you receive this message, comment, "Thank you, God," and share it with a friend.
This is everything that happened on the news today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. The insane cost it took to put man on the moon shows why the US has not done it again since. Basically, they're saying that they spent nearly $26 billion on Project Apollo, and now inflation rates today would set them back another $257 million. This man just bought $4,500 worth of returned Apple products to resell in the hopes of profit, and the results are jarring. Basically, a lot of these Apple products were trash, and a lot of the other ones were just locked up, so he lost $845. Everybody already knows that I'm not good at pronouncing things, but the largest diamond in over a century has now officially been found in Botswana at 2,492 carats, and that's how big it is. There's an increasing number of homeowners that are now blurring their homes on Google Maps to deter burglars. Basically, your full house is available to view in 3D on Google Maps unless you go on there as the homeowner and you blur it yourself. This Georgia man is now selling a 1998 Tesla Cybertruck for $5,800 on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. You can obviously tell that this is not a real Tesla. He just made a really old truck look like one. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
Colombia has become one of the biggest markets for black market organ transplants, causing what they call now to be organ tourism. So it's where desperate foreign patients come to Colombia for an organ transplant that would be considered impossible if not illegal in their home country. Recently, a 6-year-old girl had been kidnapped and sold to organ traffickers for $16,000. The World Health Organization believes that about 10,000 kidneys are traded on the black market worldwide annually. That's about one black market kidney sold every single hour. And there's estimates. Kidneys can go anywhere between $20,000 to $60,000 a kidney, and that's just for the kidney itself. That does not include the operation. Terrifyingly, they will sell corneas, they will sell eyes for $30,000. Livers go for up to $50,000 to $100,000, and hearts and lungs go for about $150,000. Now, most of the time, the traffickers, or they call themselves brokers, they make all the money. There are some markets where victims willingly give up their kidneys for money, but they only get $2,000 for their kidneys, while the brokers are taking home $18,000 to $58,000. For the other organs, like the heart, the lungs, the parts that victims need to survive, they're either doing this because they have no choice, they've been kidnapped, or potentially their death is the only way that their loved ones can live. But they're not even gonna get $150,000 out of that. They'll get a tiny percentage. It'll probably be closer to like $15,000 to die. It's estimated that the illegal organ trade generates about $1.7 billion a year.
Bam, have you heard that? A billionaire has just been caught hiding the last Titanoboa. No way. Yo, check this out. So the Titanoboa is the deadliest snake that ever existed. It is said to measure up to 20 meters long and can easily crush its prey. Everyone thought that this creature was extinct. However, rumors began to circulate that a famous billionaire named Kelsey Warren might be hiding the last Titanoboa. So, it started when Kelsey posted a tweet of himself, but when people looked closer, they could see a huge snake in the image. This led people to wonder if he might be hiding the last Titanoboa, but no one was sure until the FBI obtained a search warrant to search his house for the danger and secret of a species once considered extinct. Kelsey's house was absolutely huge and was located on the edge of a jungle. The men began to look around. However, they could not find anything suspicious. It took them several hours, but eventually they had searched everything and all seemed valid. However, as they were about to leave, they saw a small door in the corner with an old rusty sign. They quickly approached it, opened the door, and bro, what they saw next they would never forget. There was a 20-meter snake chained in a cage. One of the agents quickly took out a camera and filmed the video before leaving with the evidence. If you want to see it, follow us. Click here on more and on photo.
A lot of people probably don't even know that this is happening right now, but there is this spacecraft that just slingshotted its way around the Earth and the Moon literally last night so that it can get to Jupiter. So basically this is called the JUICE mission, or the Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, and it just used Earth and the Moon as a gravity boost so it can get to Venus by next year. So once this JUICE spacecraft arrives at Venus next year, it's also going to be using Venus as yet again another gravity boost before it gets to Jupiter in 2031, which is a long ways away, but it's exciting. And by the way, whenever this spacecraft was slingshotting itself around last night, this is a photo that it grabbed of the Moon, which is crazy. This is the photo it got of us here at home, the Earth. I think that this is, I cannot imagine seeing the Earth from a view like this. That's crazy. Jupiter is actually 497 million miles away from us here on Earth, and they have been planning this journey for 20 years. This is exciting. The goal of this mission is to take this spacecraft all the way to Jupiter so that we can scan its moons and see if they're habitable. So come back for an update.
My heart, I have but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel the same, I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of. Believe me, I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
To celebrate Joe Bob Briggs' Night Marathon happening on August 30th, Shudder has excellently sent me the Mutant Fam Survival Kit. This is such a freaking honor because obviously Joe Bob has been a major inspiration to this entire channel, and with his absolutely wild knowledge of horror movies makes him an absolute delight to watch. Knowing Joe Bob, probably gonna need this, so let's pop it open. This is super freaking dope. Official Joe Bob Briggs microwavable popcorn. 2 roll-the-film popcorn containers. A bag of his grounded mutant mud coffee, which is dark chocolate with a smoky aroma. And this massive blanket, which, hold on. Oh my god. It's over 9 degrees here in Florida, and I'll still be snuggling up with this thing. This is freaking awesome. Like I said, the Night Marathon is happening on August 30th, starting at 9 p.m., with 6 different crazy horror movies that we actually don't even know what they're gonna be yet. So to Joe Bob Briggs and the team at Shudder, thank you very much. I will be gladly indulging myself during the Night Marathon.
This is part 2 on what happened to 22-year-old Leslie. As usual, police looked at the people closest to the victim first, so they went to go question Jorge since he was her boyfriend. Now, when they questioned Jorge, he changed his story so many times. At first, he said that he wasn't with Leslie that night, then he said that he was with her, but that he left early. I mean, he changed his story over 8 times. At one point, he even said that he was with Leslie that night, but that they got into an argument, and that Leslie herself was the one who decided to unalive herself. That because of the fight, she decided to go to the telephone booth, place the telephone cord around her neck, and that was it, that she did it herself. And what's shocking is that police believed him. They really believed that Leslie would do this to herself, so they ruled her death as and then they closed the case. They took Jorge's word, you know, the guy who had a criminal record, the guy who was abusive and toxic towards his girlfriend, guy who multiple people came out and said that this is not a good guy, that he is evil, yet police believed him. They did this despite having clear evidence that Leslie suffered a violent death. Again, security footage from campus showed Jorge being abusive to Lesbi, and it even showed him abusing her and hitting her with her dog's leash. It also had genetic material belonging to Jorge underneath her fingernails, suggesting that she tried to fight him off before her death. Despite evidence suggesting that this was a femicide, Jorge was only charged with simple homicide by omission, meaning he didn't do anything to stop Lesbi from unaliving herself. Lesbi's family appealed for more time to gather evidence to prove that this was a femicide, and that's when a criminology teacher named Victor Chavez got involved. He decided to do a reconstruction of Lesbi's death with a girl who had the same height and weight as Lesbi, and with the phone booth that was the same height as the one Lesbi was found at. The woman that they hired did various positions with the phone cord around her neck, and none of them could create enough tension for Lesbi to have unalived herself. With this, Victor concluded that someone had placed the cord around her neck and that this was a homicide. And thankfully, the courts listened to him. In September of 2019, Jorge's trial began, and he was now being charged with femicide. The next month, in October, he was found guilty and sentenced to 45 years in prison. Lesbi's family is so happy with the outcome. They are so happy that this was changed to a femicide, and they were actually able to increase Jorge's sentence to 52 years and 6 months. Lesbi's mother has become a strong advocate for gender violence and continues to speak about what happened to her daughter. She's actually working to sue the authorities who mishandled her daughter's case, and she's also working to getting more security guards at the campus. She just doesn't understand how someone was literally killed on school campus yet no one realized. It's amazing that Lesbi's killer was caught and punished for what he did. She would have been turning 29 this year, and she had so many hopes and dreams. It's really heartbreaking that she wasn't able to travel the world like she dreamed of, but I just truly hope she is resting in peace.
I absolutely hate the fact that I'm having to make this video right now, but if you have not heard about this story yet, you absolutely need to watch this video. This heartbreaking time lapse shows the world's loneliest orca staring at a gate for 24 hours straight in an aquarium. So this orca has now officially been dubbed the world's loneliest orca, and it was seen in this video staring at a gate in the water for 24 hours straight at the Mundo Marino Aquarium in Argentina. I'm not going to show you the video because it literally doesn't matter. This orca has spent the past 32 years in this tiny tank, and he has spent the past 24 alone in the tank. I am honestly begging everybody watching this video to help me release this orca. It is in the Mundo Marino Aquarium. This is in Argentina, and this is the location. I am going to reach out to as many people as I can, and if you want to be updated on this story and what we can figure out and what we can do, please make sure you add me because I'll keep you updated. For some odd reason, this aquarium has 45,000 5-star reviews. Their phone number is right here, and their website is also linked. As of right this moment, I think that one of the best things we can do is go to urgentseas.org, click on contact, and fill out this information. Let them know you're from my video and tell them what we're trying to do. We need to get this video to get as many views as it can, so please make sure you save the video, share it to friends, add me, and come back for an update.
One of the most ruthless cartels in all of history, Pablo Escobar's cartel. At the height of the Medellin cartel, they were bringing in over, I mean, this figure is insane. I had to triple check because I'm like, there's no way. They're bringing in $200 million a day in profits. The king of Pablo Escobar was said at his height to be making $2 billion a year in personal income, of course tax-free. At their height, they were supplying 96% of the US's consumption and controlled 90% of the global market. They basically ruled Colombia, if not the world. Side note, they were also very creative people. Okay, I don't know if they founded this technique, but they definitely made a killing from it. They would soak denim jeans that you wear in liquid. I didn't even know it came in liquid, okay? They would soak it in liquid, dry off the jeans, export them legally through shipping containers into the US, where they had special chemists that would work with them, that would get the jeans, simply wash them with a special liquid compound that would pull out the liquid cocaine and separate it from the rest of the liquid, and then they would dry it into powder cocaine. The cartel learned how to train carrier pigeons to deliver secretive mail to one another as a way to communicate. They had a ton of pigeons around, and it's estimated that they murdered, at the very least, 4,000 people during their reign as the kings of Colombia. Many of them were innocent people.
I'm having a hard time.
Well, fairies live there.
Definitely.
Noticed these mushrooms on the ground, and I came over to discover that it's a huge ring that goes all the way around and comes over there. And my husband decided to go inside the fairy ring. I don't know what that means anymore.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love. And with
This is all the news you're not going to see on TV today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. Tesla just announced that they will now officially pay you $48 an hour to wear a motion capture suit and train its humanoid robot. So basically this is the job listing, and it's a data collection operator Tesla bot night shift, and this is a full-time position. Crazy. If you haven't heard about this yet, this blue lava just literally erupted in Ethiopia, which is crazy. This is what it looks like, and they're saying that it's not actually due to the lava itself, but it's because the volcano is erupting sulfuric gases, and that's what's making it blue. Also, for anybody that doesn't know this is what the sun actually looks like from up close. This absolutely blows my mind, but it literally looks fuzzy. This new study is now saying that fighting with your siblings can actually increase your social skills and development as a kid. Also, there's something really exciting, possibly... Okay. This volcano just erupted after a powerful earthquake in Russia's Far East, and scientists are now warning of a stronger one. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of this volcano because everybody already knows what happened with Shuapipis, so I'm going to leave it at this. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me so you can come back to me tomorrow.